Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we are back with another recording of Hearthstone. Today is Wednesday, July 25th. I started early because I was afraid I was going to fall asleep, and I think I was accurate in that assessment because at this point I'm starting to fall asleep. We're on the European account and I only need to play 6 combo cards. That is crazy. However, if I do happen to actually crash, none of the tavern balls for today are going to get done. I don't understand why this is only 6 combo cards. Almost certainly in the next 3 hours I will get another daily quest, but the European account has always been a little weird about that, so whatever. I guess 6 combo cards is not hard to play. We'll just do that and then go on to the the Americas account. I'm trying to burn through all the news while we're here. Let's try to get through everything as fast as possible, because honestly I'm not sure with the way things are going if I'm gonna make it to a 3rd recording. We have a game called Zone of Lacrima, L-A-C-R-Y-M-A, which is a vertical shoot 'em up game. It doesn't look great. I've never really been a fan of vertical shoot 'em ups. The animation, though, is below an acceptable level of quality, in my opinion. It's trying to go for a pixely art style, but it doesn't look good. Also, it's got a very yellow color palette. Like, job's done. Most of the things I've seen in the trailer are yellow, with a little bit of blue and a little bit of red. So yeah, nothing here that interests me. They want $8.99 for it, which is rather a lot of money for the game I'm seeing. I remember when I first got a computer, or maybe the first or second computer I had, that I got a collection of shareware demo type software on CD. I personally have some weird experience where technically I think the first or second, maybe even the 3rd computer we had as a family when I was a kid, a lot of those were CD-ROM based, but then when I got into electronics and building computers, I went back a lot further to the point where I was using computers that were booting up off of 3.5 floppies, 5 1/4 floppies, some really old computers I ended up playing with. Guess we should just combo this.
Here we go.
But yeah, I'm rambling here. My point in that story, though, was my first computer. I had this collection of CDs that had shareware on them, and on half of the shareware games looked like that game I was just talking about earlier. The pixel graphics, vertical scrolling shooters. It's something from like mid-80s, probably.
Here we go.
Job's done. Let's see. Next game we have on Steam is called Anti-Virus Destroyer, which Honestly, I would never install a game that had a name like that. That just sounds like you're asking for trouble. This looks like a low effort, probably troll game. It's using a bunch of generic 3D shapes in a bland looking generic 3D world. Let's see. There's a demo, and it's 15% off for $12.74. Yeah. Yeah, and just looking at the screenshots, it doesn't look like there's anything here I would want to play with. Now, to be fair, an art style might, in some weird way, like, it might be a mislead. You could have some, there definitely have been some games out there that have graphics that are not in line with the gameplay style. Certainly. I guess you could say Borderlands 1 and Borderlands 2, their graphics is not really in line with the style you would usually expect for the game you're playing.
You're not that shy.
Here we go.
So something could surprise me, certainly. But I think you still have to get a level of quality there. Like, a black and white game with MS Paint level graphics is not acceptable to look at, even if it is done as a joke. Let's just move on though. Man, I really can't comment on every game. Next game we have is called Speedbox, which I suppose is a Tempest clone, since Tempest 4000 recently came out and apparently people didn't like it. The thing about this is you're rotating the world basically, and you're trying to avoid these red pillars. It seems like the Speedbox also has the ability to jump from one side to the other, and you're, instead of like Tempest where it's a circular tube you're going down a square hallway that seems to narrow on the sides. Speedbox is 99 cents. I could kind of see playing this if you were really into Tempest. Otherwise it just kind of looks like a generic Unity game. Not terrible, but not great. Next game we have on Steam is called Aurum Kings. That's A-U-R-U-M. It says Aurum Kings is a competitive arena game where your goal is to become one of the richest in the land. This looks like it's a top-down kind of party game where you're running around trying to collect gold. Right. Well, until I get another quest for the Tavern Brawl, I am quickly done with the European account. So let's move over to the Americas account. We may just go in circles today. Yeah, Aurum Kings looks like MS Paint level graphics. Actually, the player characters don't seem to be any graphics at all. It seems just to be numbers with a circle and an arrow around them. So yeah, I don't see anything that would make me want to play Aurum Kings. It's a multiplayer game anyway, so it's 10% off for $4.49. Seems like as we've seen a collection of bad games that want a lot of money. Hunter or Battle Cry? Let's get rid of that one. So now we're looking for a Warlock victory, and we've got a Tavern Brawl.
Insect! This Tavern Brawl is much too difficult for you to handle.
So I think probably when this Tavern Ball ends in 4 days, that's when this Fire Festival will be done. Celebrate the Fire Festival by taking on 2 Elemental Lords with the lack of teamwork they make up for in destructive power. So what I want to do is make a Warlock deck with battle cries. If I can do that. Warlock, choose, and seems like 30 cards. Let's take some Defiles. Let's see, what do I have as far as Warlock cards? Take one of these. I need another one of those. I'll take a couple of those. That'll work. Take a couple of those. Take that, I guess. That. Take those. Take that. So I need 5 more cards. Take that one. Yeah, I've got a decent collection of cards on my main account, so this isn't a terrible deck to roughly build. There we go. Of course, I say that and I'll probably have all kinds of trouble beating it.
Gul'dan versus Ragnarok.
Here's an interesting free-to-play game on Steam. It's called Aerial Garden. It is negative reviewed at 18% positive of 16 user reviews. It's a free-to-play early access strategy action game. It looks to me like it's a little bit more than what you would just call a asset flip for a first-person shooter. When I'm looking in the corners and the top middle, there I'm seeing a actually kind of stylized life bars and such. It seems like also you can fly a ship and shoot that. So this is reviewed so badly, I really want to see what the problem is with this game. Let's see. It won't even load is the first one. The next not recommended says, took a while to get in the game. When I finally got into one and nobody was on, and I decided to fly around and the controls were awful. With a garbage asset flip, the game won't even load. Here's when the game GUI is a mess and it's dead. No one plays this. Not even worth trying. So yeah, there's a just long list of technical issues for Aerial Garden, which, like, honestly, people need to not release games if they are in alpha stage or beta stage. It needs to be really at a level where the game doesn't crash, the game isn't laggy, the game isn't in some other way causing frustration for players. Next game we have is an early access game called Arrowborn. It is a player versus player archery game according to the trailer. Seems like you can free roam and it has like multiple game modes. The problem here is this is it seems to be mostly multiplayer game that requires VR. It's $14.99, which is about the average you'd pay for a VR game. The graphics don't look bad, but here's the thing is you need 4 or 5 people with VR to also be playing, and that player base is not going to last for very long. Forgot they changed how this guy works. So yeah, no interest in Arrowborn. PC Gamer has an article, Disgaea 5 Complete has been delayed to the fall of 2018. The beta is coming out in October. We'll have to wait a little longer for the PC version of the best Disgaea. So, yeah. NIS America is trying. I have to, I guess, applaud them for that, but there is definitely issues going on with them releasing games on PC, or at least releasing this game on PC. Maybe I'm overgeneralizing there. But I like the idea of Japanese companies trying to release things on PC, but it is unrealistic to have expected them all to get it done without any kind of frustration. Let's see. Unleash me. This. And I guess this. TechRaptor has an article, Learn Vampire the Masquerade Lore and the Gentleman's Guide to Vampires. Is this a YouTube series or?
Good job, best friend. I did it. Now leave me alone.
Well, I don't know why I won a pack for that, because clearly I didn't win. So I wanna see what happens if I win, because I feel like there should be some kind of reward. It would be really cool if they said you get a pack for every time you win, and you could just for 4 days straight play Hearthstone and get a whole bunch of packs. I would certainly put everything else on pause if that was the case. Even if there was like a limit, they could say every time you win up to 10 wins you get a pack. Yeah, this is like a YouTube video series. The Gentleman's Guide to Vampires version 5 episode 1. So it doesn't really have too much to do with video games. Vampire the Masquerade, there is a video game in the Vampire the Masquerade universe, probably a couple, but it's generally not a video game. It's a more played in the real world LARPing style game. I guess I'm gonna skip this article for now, but there's a Gamma Sutra article. Former BioWare developer James Olin, O-H-L-E-N, discusses creative freedom and burnout. His quote is, "I think it's something to do with the fact that the technology in the gaming sector is constantly on the move, so it's really easy to get behind the times." So yeah, that's an article that I would usually read if I wasn't afraid of falling asleep pretty quickly. Gematsu has an article, 6 minutes of Darksiders 3 cutscene footage. So, how am I going to watch 6 minutes of footage and cutscenes and be efficient?
I serve the Fire Lord.
Yeah, I don't know how I'm gonna pull that off. I can sit here and watch all of this. The cutscene is showing off a new character that we haven't seen before, some kind of king-like character. And then we're seeing a demon and an angel. Apparently, maybe coming after Fury. And the king is stopping them, or making them explain themselves at least a little bit. And the king just waved his hand and apparently turned them both into dust. The angel demon. And is now absorbing them. So I don't know if this is a bad guy that's unknowable of name. Of course, I'm not listening to the audio. Or perhaps this is Fury's father, the father of all of the Nephilim, which I don't know. It can't be the father because we know the father is the demon Samael that we've seen in the 2 previous games. So this has to be some new character. Yeah. I don't know if that's the name of the demon, Samael. Now her little ghost creature, the female version of the ghost that was tied to War, it has come out and is trying to petition that Fury not be killed, I suppose. Since most of this cutscene is talking, that's probably nothing. The guy just summoned a bunch of skeletons to attack her, which is odd that he would summon skeletons. I do believe the king guy has like the Ark of the Covenant on his back. Interesting thought.
You face Jaraxxus, Eladar Lord of the Burning Legion!
Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna win.
Covermost rises.
Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna win in any of these tavern brawls, so I'm gonna move on to just a regular gameplay. This is just gonna take too long. otherwise.
I see everything. We did it! Good job, best friend!
Okay. Let's ignore the tavern brawl and just do the daily quests. So it seems like she beat a bunch of skeletons and she got the ability to set herself ablaze, which we've seen Fury be able to do that before. So Shaman and Warlock cards. We need a real Warlock victory. When she's ablaze, her hair looks half fiery, half blonde. So there's a little bit of weirdness in that, the way that's animated. Certainly. It's just classic Warlock. There we go. I hope this guy that has the Ark of Covenant on his back is not some indication of loot boxes in Darksiders 3. Let's see. So it shows how Fury got her Flame Fury form. Maybe I'll watch that video with the audio later. I'm actually trying to win here, so... PC Gamer has an article. The 90s sci-fi shooter Forsaken is coming back next week. Forsaken Remastered is the next thing to come from the Turok and System Shock updater Night Dive Studios. Frankly, I'm not sure if Night Dive Studios is got any plans to do anything else other than just re-release old games. Forsaken is a weird game if it's the game I'm thinking of, because it was a game I think I tried to get into, but it made me motion sick. So I imagine even a remastered version would probably make me motion sick because you're controlling a spaceship that's flying around in a 360 environment shooting other things. I don't think there's much of a single player story to it. Let's see, Forsaken Remastered will be available on July 31st on Steam. Yeah. It's kind of one of those old games that, for history's sake, I'd love to have, but it's also a game that I absolutely know I'm not going to spend too much time on.
Why do you call?
Hey, catch! Hey, catch!
Moving on. Silent Hill HD Collection and Homecoming are now backwards compatible with the Xbox One. At this rate, it is getting to the point where I think every last little game that was on the Xbox 360 is going to come out, if it can come out at all, on backwards compatibility. Which is weird because this is basically making a great argument for owning an Xbox One and pulling out your collection of 360 games, or going to a used game store and getting all of those discs for all those old games if you haven't ever played them.
Cleanse the Sunwell.
But that's still not really a good scenario compared to, or a good use of your money compared to just buying the games on Steam and missing out on maybe 5% at most of the games that never came to PC or Steam. Yeah. But the whole thing is definitely weird in the fact that rumors are now that
We must cleanse the Sunwell.
the Project Scarlet
forward.
is coming out, and the next
Push forward.
Xbox game consoles are coming out. Gamasutra has an article, Get a Job, Roblox is hiring a C++ engineer. It's kind of weird to see somebody hiring a C++ engineer. C++ was the language that I was mainly taught in a long time ago. So, but it's been pretty much replaced with C#. So if you're sticking to C++, it means you probably have really old legacy software that you're programming on. If you do want to be a C++ engineer and work in San Mateo, California for Roblox, that is a job, I suppose. This is a story by staff. Just staff. S-T-A-F-F. Which is like, that's the weird thing about Gamasutra, is like there seems to be one person that actually works at Gamasutra that has a voice, and then it seems like a lot of people that don't work for Gamasutra that can still post their blogs on it, and then you've got just generic staff bylines.
Gul'dan versus Anduin.
GameIndustry.biz has an article, the GameIndustry.biz career survey of 2018, lower pay but less staff, but less crunch. We break down the results of our second annual study on the games jobs market, which shows the industry improving its conditions and increasing its efforts and their quality. So that might be an interesting look if you want to work in the industry or do work in the video game industry. I think most people, however, really wouldn't care too much to read that. So I don't even care to read it, I just close the page. Gamasutra has an article, Blind Mind Studios has released the source code for Star Ruler 2. I've never heard of Star Ruler 2, but apparently it was a game that came out in 2015, one of the 4X real-time strategy games. 4X is a type of strategy game, so it's like 4 things that start EX, like explore, exterminate, expand, something else, I'm sure. Yeah, there has to be a 4th one. Basically, what a lot of the strategy Age of Empires type games are. So take that story for whatever it is. I guess that means they're hoping somebody else will support Star Ruler 2 or do something with it if they're releasing the source code. It's not really a great bit of news for people who actually want to play that game. We've got a game on Steam called Epic Skater 2. This looks like a mobile phone port, most definitely. It's actually pretty. Looks like I would say it looks like a Unity Very nicely animated mobile phone game that's been ported to Steam. They say it's early access and they want $14.99. I certainly wouldn't give $14.99 to it. If this was like a $2 game and it didn't look like a cell phone port with buttons on the screen and controls that seem like they're gonna very obviously be very bad. Seems like you're doing a lot of tricks and moves by moving the mouse or dragging the mouse from one location to the other.
My shield for Argus.
Push forward.
Catch.
We've got a game on Steam called Semblance, S-E-M-B-L-A-N-C-E. Says it's an action, casual, indie adventure platformer. Immediately looking at this trailer, it's like a fully animated, cartoony trailer, which is not what you usually see. You see, at best, these medium effort things.
So many possibilities. Get in there and fight, maggot!
Into the breach.
Push forward.
So now that the animation is over on this trailer, seems like you're playing this little ball of glue that is bouncing around lasers and trying to solve puzzles. I think I may have seen Giant Bomb do a quick look on this game early. It's 100% positive of 14 user reviews. That's a little low to trust. It's 10% off for $8.99. Semblance, I guess, will be the first game today that I actually will wishlist, and everything else has been closed. Let's see. Do
The frost
this.
wolves stand ready.
I just need victories right now, so
Push
let's
forward.
win.
The light shall burn.
Next game we have on Steam is called Jack Be Nimble from Nursery Rhyme. Jack be nimble, Jack be quick, Jack jump over a candlestick. And I need some shame and victories now. Let's play this instead, because that seems like that'll just be a quicker way. So, master the whip in this cute retro infinite runner game. Alright, let's see. This looks like a Game Boy game, in the sense that it's like 4 shades of green or 4 shades of blue. They say it's an infinite runner, but there's different areas,
Throw
it seems.
versus Anduin. The light shall
So
bring
it seems
victory.
like they've added nostalgia for Game Boys, which I never really agree with that, and merged it into a game that has some different levels that you progress through, and I guess there's an infinite mode later on, so it can actually be an infinite runner. It's also available on the Apple App Store, so clearly it's a cell phone port. No, I don't think so. They want... It's 25% off for $2.24. And since I have no nostalgia for the Game Boy style graphics, and I really don't think I'd pay $2.25 for a infinite runner anyways. I think that's a no-go for me. Next game we have on Steam is called Fortune and Gloria.
Is someone injured?
Which seems to be an action platformer where you're in a free friend, and you and optionally a friend save the day in a procedurally generated missions, it says. Yeah, optionally in a friend. I'd say this looks a lot like a Terraria type game. Darn it. I really wish there was an undo button sometimes. Yeah, I don't see anything that Fortune and Gloria is offering. Seems very interesting. 60 achievements, really high. 10% off for $8.99, pretty high on that too. When this really just feels like a Terraria ripoff. This is kind of a somewhat video game related. The Logitech has replaced its old gaming software with a snazzy new G-Hub. So Logitech Gaming is retiring its old driver suite and replacing it with a new hub launched into beta today called the Logitech G-Hub. That doesn't look like a holdover from the Windows Vista era. Which I do have a Logitech mouse and keyboard. I don't think they're particularly part of the gaming range of equipment, so I wonder if when this comes out of beta, if at some point I'm gonna have to
Meddlesome insects.
yeah, I may have to install this new version. I don't even know what it would really do, if anything, other than maybe take up more memory as it runs, or maybe it would take up less. They do mention in this PC Gamer article that you don't have to sign up and make an account like you do for the GeForce experience, for example, which that was an insane thing for them to require when they started doing that. We've got a game on Steam called Enlightenment. It seems to be a top-down survival atmospheric action indie game, according to the tags. It's mixed reviews, 56% positive of 16 user reviews right now. Yeah, it seems like it's a kind of nice looking top-down hack and slash game, but it seems like it might be kind of empty too. Seems to be designed around shooting zombies, so there's a lot of people running toward you.
Looking forward to the fireworks.
It's 25% off for $8.99. I kind of want to see what the reviews are that are negative. Let's see. Seems like the negative reviews are
The light shall burn you.
kind of nothing right now. A game-breaking bug within the first 5 minutes is the only review I've seen so far that seems to be anything. This game must have been in early access because, like, there's way too many reviews on this game. Over the lifetime, it was a mostly positive 75%. Positive reviews of 257, but in the last 30 days it's become a 56% positive, so the game has gotten worse somehow by that metric. Yeah, I don't see anything here though with Enlightenment that catches my attention. A top-down shooter zombie game. I think I could do better just playing Diablo if I was going to play a game like that. Next game we have on Steam is called Stick Arena. Much like RPG Maker games, Stickman games, I will not play because it's starting from the concept of let's make a cheap game and not spend any effort to animate it to make it look pretty, and then call that an artistic decision instead of a cheap, just lazy decision. RPG Maker's the same way. Let's make a game, but we don't really have any artistic talent or ability to make games with unique gameplay mechanics. Let's see, we've got a game called Head Snatchers on early access on Steam. Seems like this is a game that's been played at PAX, and seems like what you do is you knock people's heads off and then
I wonder.
and then try to knock their heads into a goalpost or a goal or something like that. This is one of those games that's mostly designed to be played by multiplayers, like 4 people playing probably in the same room, so I'm not gonna really bother with Head Snatchers. It's 10% off, $13.49. I haven't run into a lot of games that I felt good about. Probably because I'm sleepy, certainly, but also very possibly because there's just been a rush of bad games. Speaking of rush of bad games, Mega Man X Legacy Collection 2 is out right now. It is mixed reviews at 69% of 56 user reviews. I think the thing to take away from this is you really gotta like Mega Man, and then you've really gotta like Mega Man X. I think I heard some people say that the Collection 1 was better than Collection 2, so you might want to just get Collection 1. But according to these reviews, 61% of 130 user reviews don't like rate Collection 1 positive 2, so it's both collections are getting mixed. Part of the issue, I imagine, also is that there's just probably some bitterness around the idea of having to buy the game separate like that instead of there being one collection for all the Mega Man X games. The first not recommended review says X1 is great, these are just ROMs in an emulator. However, GCN PS2 versions of X1 and X2, for example, had no slowdown. This collection has the base Super NES versions of X1 and X2 verbatim slowdown included, not the updated GameCube or PS2 versions. The version of X3 includes here is the SNES version. So yeah. So yeah, Capcom not doing a good service for the Mega Man collection, which is kind of ridiculous. Like, Capcom has this legacy, and they need to learn not to milk it and actually do something good with it. I guess inherently, though, this is also the guy who was in charge of making the Mega Man series, I think, has since sort of bitterly left the company. So in the same way that there is a Metal Gear Solid like movie script that's being worked on, and I heard was just recently finished, so that they can make some money off of a property now that Miyamoto is not working with them. I think that's the same case here, is they're just trying to make a last few bits of pennies from the Mega Man / Rockman, as they call it in Japan, series. Meanwhile, this really would have been a great opportunity. It's the 30th anniversary. It'd be a great opportunity for them to put some real money into making a new Mega Man series, rebooting it, doing something a little bit different. I think there's a lot that could be done with that series. For instance, just turning it into a direct a direct boss rush game with very little platforming, or maybe no platforming at all might be the right move. Taking concepts and adding some new things to it, not being repetitive. The Mega Man series has always been extremely repetitive. Let's see, we got a game on Steam called Draft Day Sports Pro Golf.
Thank you.
It looks like it's very possibly a clone of another fantasy sports draft game that I've already seen. Let's see if this... Yes, the Draft Day Sports series comes out for all kinds of different games. Golf, football, college football, pro baseball. Unfortunately for them, the only two games that they've even gotten reviewed are mixed and negative. So yeah, with that kind of credibility behind it, and the fact that I probably would never play that game anyways, I can easily ignore that game. Gematsu has an article, Guacamelee 2 launches August 21st. Let's see, it will be for the PS4 and the PC via Steam, August 21 for $19.99. I'm not sure I'm gonna get into playing Guacamelee immediately. I recently played Guacamelee 1. I liked it fine for the basic challenges. The super hard challenges are actually not something I'm interested in doing. It seems like maybe Guacamelee 2 is going to... I don't know. It's probably more of the same. I'll double check to make its wish list, make sure it's wish listed, but I wouldn't be surprised if I take my time to get around to actually playing it.
I wonder.
Next game we have on Steam is called Aces of the Luftwaffe Squadron, so that would be German Nazi planes. This is a top-down shooting game where it looks like you're probably shooting down Nazi planes. It's really bullet hellish, and this is interesting because this is like a 4-player on the screen at the same time. It looks like multiplayer game. That's an interesting thought about whether, if I was playing with somebody else who was really good at a bullet hell shooting, would I be willing to go along for the ride and see if I could manage all the way to the end if somebody was helping me? Probably not. I really wouldn't be surprised if, even with somebody else doing most of the work, I wouldn't want to play a top-down shooter game. But if you do want to play a top-down shooter game, Aces of Luftwaffe Squadron is 10% off for $13.49. It, I think, is 4-player multiplayer compatible. capable. So yeah, check it out if it's something that sounds like it interests you. And see, now I just need Battle Cry, which I'm not sure I have. I have this Cry deck, I guess, which I can play ranked while I'm doing that. We have a game on Steam called The Basilisk. It's described as a genre swapping horror platformer that focuses on you, a supercomputer, as the last hope to save mankind from an unknown virus. If you suffer from mental health issues, play at your own risk. Well, I guess for people who don't suffer from mental health issues, they are not playing at their own risk.
Versus Anduin.
That being said, what it's described as and what it actually is completely different. This is just a random assortment based on the screenshots of it seems like it's just kind of a random connection of symbols, and this is just a cheap Unity game. And at the beginning of the trailer, as I'm starting to play, it says, warning, these have the potential to really hurt you, and I don't think so. So it's basically a horror jump scare images, I think, integrated with a terrible, lazy made Unity game demos. And I don't think I really would buy into the idea that the basic gameplay is designed to put you at ease so the jump scares can work better on you, or there's some kind of mental manipulation. The Basilisk is 35% off for $1.29. Nah, I think the gameplay part of this game is a problem. Well, this developer made another game called Archimedes, which is rated very positive at 81% for 131 user reviews, and it seems like it's a similar idea as the Basilisk. So I wonder if this is a jump scare game that streamers play. Some streamer plays. So this is 50 levels in this. Let's see. Eurogamer has an article. Amazon is ending the £2 Prime discount on physical game pre-orders. So any orders placed after the 7th of August, apparently in Europe at least, will no longer get a discount for pre-ordering. I've heard a few people using Amazon Prime to pre-order video games. I don't recommend people ever pre-order video games in general, but I could see trying to get a little bit of a discount if you were going to pre-order anyways. Maybe in the United States you still do get a discount. Yeah, that's something to keep an eye out for.
You have been.
See, it's been an hour, and let's see if we can just wrap up here, because I really do feel like I'm crashing, and I'm gonna start falling asleep in the middle of streaming if I'm not careful. So we've done everything on the Americas account, except for win with the Tavern Ball, which theoretically I will build a deck to win with that. Let's switch back to the European account. Eurogamer has an article, surprise Metal Gear Solid 5 updates let you play as quiet, which is interesting. Certainly.
Good thing the fire is roaring.
I don't think it's going to change too much though. You play as quiet in the FOB missions, I believe. Right, so now on the European account, I've unlocked the Tavern Ball, but I haven't gotten another daily quest. So theoretically, I could make a deck and then try to do that. I think we'll just do all that on Friday though. And then let's switch over to the Asian account and look there. I'm just trying to look at all the news stories
Come in, have a seat.
that are just not games, and we'll just leave a lot of these games to look at for Friday, which hopefully Friday plays a little bit better and I'm a bit more awake. One of the things of being half asleep here is let's play a druid cards. I'm saying a lot, I think, and I'm pausing between each sentence and more than usual. Your Gamer has an article, FIFA player uses the GDPR to find out everything EA has on him, realizes he spent over $10,000 in 2 years on Ultimate Team, which is almost certainly was something he knew he was going to find out. He probably didn't know the exact amount he spent, but he probably knew he spent a lot. I thought I started the game there. PC Gamer has an article, Resident Evil 2 remake devs worried about the ridiculous giant alligator fight. It was tricky to do without changing the game's tone a lot. So the remake will include Tofu and Hunk and the big alligator, which, okay, good. I suppose. I think people would want all of those things. Your Gamer has an article, Steam's huge friends and chat update is now out of beta. Everyone can use the client's revamped messenger and social tools. Basically, they look a lot like Discord. The weird thing here is you're still limited, I believe, to the number of friends. So there's a issue there where if you are going to use Steam to chat, you're going to have to raise your level by making badges. I think, unless they've just abandoned that limitation and not told anybody. I like the idea of something like Discord integrated into Steam, certainly, but it doesn't really change anything for me. And personally, I don't feel like Steam, or I don't feel like Discord did what I would want it to do. I think people got into it and were happy with it, and people certainly are still using it, but I don't think it became the next Facebook or anything like that. In a weird way, YouTube's trying to update and become more like Twitter, and I'm not sure that helps anything, or that'll work. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. Gamer Citra has an article, Mini Metro surpasses 100 million sold. So that's more reason, I guess, for me to play Mini Metro. Part of the reason was this game was launched in 2015 on PC, and then mobile in 2016, and then this year in 2018 it was released on Nintendo Switch. So they're pushing further. Pushing the game on new platforms is getting more views. Let's see.
I wonder.
Mind if I roll knee?
Gematsu has an article, Disgaea 6 will definitely release as NIS platform. Release timing, platforms, and game contents are still under consideration. So this is an odd article, really. It's just quoting somebody and saying, yeah, this game series that's been very popular, at least in Japan, will get a sequel. That's kind of all it's saying. Let's see. Give your minions +1 attack. And give them +1 attack again.
Hey, give me that!
And hit that. Hit that. Let's see. PC Gamer has an article, Steel Division 2 announced, moving to the Eastern Front. We'll get more information, I'm sure, about Steel Division 2 when it comes out or gets closer to coming out. Your Gamer has an article, Surgeon Simulator transfers to the Nintendo Switch with co-op play. So yeah, if you like Surgeon Simulator and wanted to play it on the Switch, now might be more of a chance. We've got a game here called Loot Box Achievement Simulator, so clearly that's a troll game with 233 achievements for 74 cents right now. PC Gamer has an article, Vermintide 2 rolls out its first batch of sanctioned mods, with more to come. The first 11 are out now. These sanctioned mods are 11 player-made projects that were greenlit by the company, the developer Fat Shark, and are playable in the game's official realm. I assume, since this is the first set of sanctioned mods, that there's a whole bunch of not sanctioned mods that you can also play.
Time waits for no one.
That's why I try to see. I'm falling asleep. I totally am. I'm losing focus. Let's see. Gamma Sutra has an article, the mobile startup Knock Knock raises $2 million in funding towards developing chat games. Knock Knock is a gaming startup founded by Zynga, TinyCo, and EA alumni. Let's see. I don't know if they've released anything, because there's a game called Knock Knock. but I don't think it's related to that. To the company called Knock Knock. Interesting. We already talked about that one. Save that one for Friday. I'm saving way too many things for Friday.
Where shall I strike?
I already tell. I'll probably go through a lot of Steam games and just limit them down. Gamma Sutra has a job listing for Cloud Imperium Games if you want to be the principal character artist and work in Los Angeles, California. That job listing is there.
Think.
Mushroom power!
Let's see. So by skipping all the games, I'm now on the Humble Bundle store. I don't think there's any new bundles. No. I've been having some issues though with tabs opening in the wrong place. So let me close all of these. There's Twitter in the wrong location, so I gotta drag that tab back.
I wonder.
Swords of Ditto has put out a slight update. Maybe they've improved it a little bit. I wouldn't. The weird thing there is I'm not sure anybody's ever gonna know, because I don't think I'd be willing to risk it.
We'll offer you aid.
But yeah, let's see if I can get some more information. It's the Swords of Ditto Timeless Update is now live on PS4 and PC with selectable, upgradable characters, time limit changes, and a new leveling structure and more. And see, I think they're just addressing a lot of the issues that people had with Swords of Ditto. So now I would be more interested in that. Apparently Wizard of Legends sold 500,000 copies. Let's do one more game. I'm gonna leave that at that. And
Malfurion versus Maiev.
None can escape my fury.
I must protect the wild.
Gematsu has an article. Nickelodeon kart racers have been announced for the PS4, Xbox One, and Switch. So that's an interesting twist, certainly, that racers from SpongeBob, SquarePants, Rugrats, and Hey Arnold, and more, also the Ninja Turtle ones I can see in the screenshot, are going to be able to play in some kind of kart racing game to try and compete in against like Mario Kart, I suppose. Although that is not really a apples to apples comparison, certainly. Like I don't think anybody's gonna feel like they're getting the same experience or the same amount of nostalgia playing a racing kart game with Nickelodeon characters versus Nintendo characters. Let's see, PC Gamers is still promoting Sunless Skies. That game was way overhyped. Sunless Skies launches a terrifying third region, delays full release to 2019. Game is still not out. Let's see, PC Gamer has an article. No Man's Sky draws over 40,000 concurrent players on Steam with the next expansion. That's twice as many players that showed up for the Atlas Rises expansion in 2017. So, I guess they are working to bring back an audience there, and it's sort of working.
A stranger will offer you aid.
Man, that is probably one of the best cards to have gotten.
How long can this go on? How long can this go on?
PC Gamer has a article called "How to Choose and Defend Your Faction in Team-Based Survival Game Rend." That feels very much like a advertisement for an unknown game to me.
The future is now.
I guess if I close a tab, and then I've closed that tab, haven't I? So now I'm back on my Twitter account, and almost certainly there'll be more news. The Boomsday project is yeah, definitely adding more cards and talking about more cards that are being added.
The future is now.
In the 2 hours plus of streaming, it seems like there has really only been about 15 more announcements that came out. It's about 3:30 p.m. so about the time I'd start streaming normally. And yeah, that I think more news will probably come out today. But I'm in such a bad position. Yeah, I don't know what to really even do about this. This would,
It's time for a little brawl.
I'm gonna have to figure something out, some way to get back to sleeping 6 to 8 hours in one run. And every time I get any of my sleep schedule close to being what it should be, something happens and then it changes. So now I'm opening games that have come out in the last hour. Is Samsung hires a former NVIDIA employee, could be developing its own GPU. Yeah, could be. Or it just could be kind of random. Yeah, and I'm going quiet here because I don't really have anything. I don't really have anything else to say, and yeah. And see, this right now is not even too bad. I haven't even hit that third stage where my eyes would start closing on their own, and I'd start micro sleeping.
Smart moves, I concede.
BAFTA appoints somebody as the chair. This BAFTA appoints Dr. Joe Twist as chair of the games committee. That's so. That's probably a good thing, I would assume, for the people who wanted to win BAFTA awards. We'll talk about that on Friday, hopefully. Let's see. Just scrolling down. Just scrolling down a little bit more before we wrap up. So, yeah, I struggled certainly in the stream today. It didn't go very well. Just starting early though was the right move, I think, because had I decided to try to go to sleep, I probably wouldn't have been asleep until right now anyways, and just as I was about just as I would need to stream, I would have fallen asleep completely and not even gotten 2 hours of content. And 2 hours is better than nothing, just to catch up on the news and move on. Yeah, I'm done with my Twitter. There's nothing else. Nothing else really to talk about. So that's gonna be it for this stream. Apologies for just, you know, having a crisis of insomnia. Hopefully this wasn't too bad. Clearly I need to sleep. I may come back and do some more things. We're fine pretty much, but the tavern brawls are the only real concern, and we'll be fine to do those on Friday too. So that's going to be it for the stream. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. When you subscribe, click the notification bells. I'm asking a lot in this instance for you to like this video. If you want to friend or follow me on any social media sites, there's a bunch of links down below. And if you want to support me, despite my bad efforts sometimes, you can friend me on Steam and gift me a game or a gift card. That's it for this recording. Extra special thank you for watching this one. So thanks for watching. Have a good evening.